So, of course, the big news is that Joe Biden has COVID again, will restart isolation despite no new symptoms. And it's just a really weird news cycle, I guess. Joe Biden, I thought he's got like 4 shots. Isn't he? He's got 2 doses and double boosted? I thought so. Whatever. I don't know. So I don't know exactly why he got COVID twice. But we'll read this story to get the full context after, of course, a message from the former president. Real Donald Trump on Truth Social. That's right. The former president truthed about Joe Biden's illness. That's what it's called, truthing, like tweeting, but, on Truth Social. And Donald Trump says, Joe Biden's second bout of COVID, sometimes referred to as the China virus, was sadly misdiagnosed by his doctors. He instead has dementia, but is happily recovering well. Joe is thinking of moving part-time to one of those beautiful Wisconsin nursing homes where almost 100% of the residents miraculously, and for the first time in history, had the strength and energy to vote, even if those votes were cast illegally. Get well soon, Joe. I don't know what he is trying to refer to. I mean, obviously, he is once again talking about the 2020 election, and it is really, really, I'm sorry. I'm so annoyed by this. Yo, can we talk about Joe Biden having dementia? We had Ned Ryan on the show last week, and he said the president needs to lead. He needs to say, here's how good things were. This is what we can have again. Instead, he just won't shut up. Sorry, it is so annoying when he just keeps screaming about illegal votes or whatever, in which I don't even think he's correct or knows a whole lot about. Now, granted, I understand there are questions pertaining to it with the release of 2,000 Mules, which you should check out. And my issue is just like, okay, dude, fine. But you are not winning anybody over with this. Anyway, that aside, he's right about Joe having dementia, but he said he's happily recovering well. Come on, Mr. President. Joe Biden's not recovering well. He's getting worse. Everything about Joe Biden is getting worse. If you want to make a joke about having dementia or just say he has dementia, okay, I can respect that because, well, I agree. Something's wrong with Biden's brain. Hands down. I think they got that guy on so many uppers. As an aside, though, while I can appreciate the snark, and I know a lot of people just want someone to speak up and say it, to call out Joe Biden, someone prominent. And Donald Trump is that person. I can respect it. I'm just really, really sick of the obsession with 2020 because, I believe the reason the Democrats got the Senate 50-50, but the tiebreaker vote, is because Trump kept claiming that the election was rigged. And so people said, okay, fine, I'm not going to go vote. And then there was a marked turn down in turnout only like a month or 2 after the general election. That should not have happened. But anyway, it's annoying that every single conversation has to be about this. At a certain point, you want to be like, bro, move the conversation forward. But I'll tell you, fine. If Trump wins in 2024, if Republicans win in November, maybe they'll do something. But I will add this. If this is what you're campaigning on, you're going to lose. Sorry. I tweeted it, and this one really, you know what? It is really annoying and frustrating for me. I'm sorry. It just is. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful or anything, but please hear me out. I tweeted out, there are many people on the right that instead of accepting Democrats are improving in the polling, they're saying things like it's fraud or the pollsters are lying. And I'm like, who cares? That should never be your state of mind. You should always believe you are an inch from defeat. The person who wins is the person who fights like they have every obstacle in front of them. The rabbit in the tortoise in the hare. The hare is like, I'm fine, man. I can't lose. Look at that slow tortoise. And he takes a nap. And then the tortoise wins. That's why I'm like, Donald Trump needs to be coming out with a strong statement that Joe Biden has COVID now twice, that he has dementia. This is not a man who can lead. And then he should say, during my term as president, we brought you record low gas prices. Well, I shouldn't say that record low is hard to do because of inflation, but very low gas prices. We brought you a great economy, record low unemployment. That's what he needs to be saying. Instead, he's just harping on nursing homes, an esoteric subject that most people are going to be like, I don't know what that means. Take the opportunity, Mr. President. Well, here's the story. CNBC reports President Joe Biden on Saturday tested positive for COVID-19 once again after consecutive days of testing negative for the virus. Biden, 79, is experiencing no new symptoms and continues to feel quite well. But he will nevertheless reinitiate strict isolation procedures. Biden, who is fully vaccinated and has received 2 booster shots of the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine, tweeted, so yeah, he's double boosted. He's got 4 shots. Tweeted Saturday afternoon that he was asymptomatic but would isolate for the safety of everyone around me. I'm still at work and will be back on the road soon, the president said. All right. So, Mr. President, Mr. Donald Trump, I get it. When I heard that he got COVID again, I was like, what? That's crazy. He says it happens. Biden's like, it happens to some people. Some people get this. Yeah, but bro, you've got 4 vaccines and Paxlovid. I'm wondering what's going on. Now, I know you got a lot of people on the right talking about those vaccines, giving their opinions on them. I get it. At this point, I would say, I think we need an inquiry. Dr. Deborah Birx came out and said that we overplayed the vaccines. She said that. I posted the quote on Instagram. I think we're going to need an inquiry into this. The vax mandates need to be, in my opinion, for a variety of reasons, just absolutely removed in every respect. There's still a vax mandate to enter the United States for non-citizens. I just got to say, man, we need an inquiry into this, simply put. But as for what Donald Trump had to say, I want to show you this video. I want to show you this video and this article. Fact check. Was Joe Biden deepfake used in video attacking Donald Trump? It was a video that went viral. And it shows a wide-eyed Joe Biden not blinking and talking for like 35 seconds. There's also other clips where it like jump cuts every, sentence. So Joe Biden will be like, the police, jump cut. They did a good job with this, helping end crime, jump cut. Now, a lot of people are saying it's a deepfake. Okay. No, I don't think it is. And I don't think we need this kind of, I don't know if it's a conspiracy theory, but the reality is worse than the conspiracy. You see, when Donald Trump comes out and says this man has dementia, I don't think he's wrong. And then when you take a story like this, Trump should have posted this video and said, please, American people, watch this video. Now, here's what really annoys me. My good friend, George Alexopoulos, and this I actually mean, normally it's a bit facetious, but normally George is fantastic. I'm a huge fan. He says, my eyes can detect the uncanny valley instantly. This is 100% deepfake technology. They pasted Biden's face on an actor. I'd bet my career on it. Now, I don't know if George is joking or whatever, but this is a defense of Joe Biden. I'm sorry, I'm going to say it. Claiming they are deepfaking this video is defending the man because the reality is much worse. Newsweek did a fact check. Is it a deepfake video? Well, let's be real. Yeah, it could be. Whatever. It's like, how do you know for sure? Let me play the clip. 5 times August tweeted, here's the 2 videos back and forth. Pay attention to his physical appearance and his voice. Again, both supposedly from today, but only a few hours apart. What the hell is happening here? Here's the video. Twitter makes you open up Twitter. Here you go.
As we fight inflation, you can't be pro-insurrection and pro-cop. Bringing down gas prices is a big part of the job. You can't be pro-insurrection and pro-democracy. You can't be pro-insurrection and pro-American. And here's the good news. Gas prices have dropped every day this summer. That's more than 40 days in a row. Donald Trump lacked the courage to act.
The videos are very different. And people are claiming that it was a deep fake. I think there might be a side-by-side somewhere down here. I'm not sure. All right, let me tell you something. There you go. Here's a side-by-side. 5 times August says, 2 videos posted within a couple hours of each other. I mean, you tell me what's going on here. For those that are just listening, on the left, Biden's eyes are wide open, And he doesn't blink for like 35 seconds. On the right, his eyes are squinty and he struggles to breathe. Have you noticed that when he talks, he's like, the people, they gave their statement. It's like, geez, man. You know, you can talk about this guy having dementia, but it's even worse than that. Yo, it's not a deep fake. It might be, probably not. I say it might be because I don't know. I'm not a forensic filmologist, videographer, whatever. The issue is two things. One, they're clearly shot with different cameras. The lighting is clearly different in the room. This makes Biden look different. Here's one thing I want to say. Take a look at his hair. All right, let me show you this. All right, let me see if we can pull up this clip again. It looks like his hair actually goes in the other direction, right? So in this video, this is the only thing I would say that I find to be weird. Actually, it's better here. His hair on the left video where his eyes are wide open, his hair appears to go to the right. In the other video, his hair appears to go to the left. That, to me, strange. Could just be grainy video, though, but you can clearly see the hair is going a different way. Maybe they brushed his hair in a different direction. And that's what brings me to the actual theory. I think a deep fake would be stupid. The other thing is, when you actually watch the video, there's tons of jump cuts. Why? Because Biden is struggling here. The reality of the video being Biden is worse than claiming it's a deepfake. Why claim it's a deepfake? Look, even if it is a deepfake, you're better off just saying it's actually Biden. Because there's a jump cut every sentence. The same is true for the video on the right to a certain degree. But the video on the right, it's like Biden in a lower light and he's talking and all that stuff. He's probably squinting here because they've got the light on the camera blasting in his face. The reality is these videos are probably recorded at different times with different equipment. That's it. Joe Biden, in my opinion, was probably on uppers. Seriously. His eyes are wide open and he's not blinking because they probably gave him drugs. That makes way more sense than they're making deep fakes of Joe Biden. Now, it's possible. But I don't want to play that game because that game is weird. All right, here's the other thing. The full video of when Biden's eyes are all wide, here it is. And in high definition, let me see if I can up this to 1080. You can see Biden's hair actually does go the other direction. All right. What this says to me, in this video on the right, where he's squinting and blinking, his hair is brushed, I guess from your perspective, it's heading towards your left. And the other video, it's heading towards the right. Indicative of separate video shoots. Now, maybe some people might say that shows deep fake or whatever, but that's not the logical conclusion here. The video is 11 minutes and 15 seconds long. You can watch the full thing. There are a lot of jump cuts, but it ain't a deep fake. It's high definition. And he's squinting here and he does blink. I think the video's recorded. It was a pre-record and held. They do this with Joe Biden because he probably struggles to live. He probably has days where he can't get up and he's lying in bed. He's like, brr. And they're like, Mr. President, we need you for the show. He's like, I can't get up, man. I'm too old. Where am I? He probably has dementia. Let me tell you guys the sad reality of dementia. People have good days and they have bad days. You know what that means? As anybody who knows somebody with Alzheimer's or dementia or a mental cognitive decline, you know that there are good days and bad days. But some days you might, for people with early onset Alzheimer's and dementia, they'll be able to talk to you. And it's really sad when you see people and they're talking and then they have a bout of dementia and then they come back to it and they're like, what just happened? What was I saying? And it's like, you were talking about the grapefruits falling from the sky or, whatever weird nonsense. You thought Trump was here in the room with you. It's sad stuff. So what do? When Biden's having a good day, they probably film as much as they can. So when they want to put out a video, they can. And they can make it seem like it was a current video. There was a photo a while ago that was supposedly Joe Biden. I think it was Biden. He was meeting with world leaders via telemeetings or whatever. And daylight savings time, I think, was the clock was off as per daylight savings. I'm not sure if it was an hour ahead or an hour back or whatever. And people pointed out and they're like, hey, wait a minute. This clock is daylight savings time. This photo is from when Joe Biden was at which base is it? He was at some base. They were like, this is an old photo. If this dude is suffering from dementia, like Trump says, and I think Trump is right, I think we have evidence of dementia, not deepfake. I'm not saying definitive proof he has dementia. I would say most people think he does. And then I would say the fact that they use pre-records and that his behavior and his clothing change, I think says something. It's not just his hair. His tie is different. His tie is going the other direction. That's so weird. Look, his tie has stripes going from the top left to the bottom right. In the other image, his tie has stripes going from the top right to the bottom left. His hair is also going the other direction. It's like bizarro Biden. Simple. Look, it would make no sense if they made him, well, unless he pooped his pants or something, but it would make no sense that Joe Biden gets his hair slicked, puts on a suit, records a video, then goes, slicks his hair the other way, puts a suit on, records another video. What does make sense is they're pre-recording talking points that are generic enough and then releasing them on the days they need to. When Joe Biden has a good day, they film as much as they can. That's what I think. I think his brain is broken. Otherwise, tell me this. What do you think the simple solution is? A lot of people think it's a deep fake. I think that's a complicated solution. The people on the left would just be like, no, Joe Biden changed his clothes for some reason. I'm like, that's not a simple solution. Unless you want to argue he crapped his pants. But he didn't need to change his tie for that. I mean, I guess he changed the suit because you want it to match. But you can't even see his pants. So, look, I think Trump is right when he says that Joe Biden has dementia. I think that's reality here. But I think people are super susceptible to, I think people are completely susceptible to manipulation. Let me show you this. New York Times columnist and Nobel Prize-winning economist Paul Krugman is mocked for insisting to CNN that America isn't in a recession and that the term doesn't matter. These people live in a deranged world. You know, look, I'm not a fan of people claiming like, oh, it's a deep fake. There will come a time when they deep fake. And fair point. If Biden does have dementia, then they may need to deep fake him. But I don't think so. If you're going to do a deep fake, what you really want is, I believe you want, you might want grainy footage. Actually, I could be wrong about this. So I'm not entirely sure. I had a friend who works in computer graphics stuff, CGI. And I think he said high definition video is easier to manipulate than low definition because low definition, it's hard to mask the graininess that naturally comes with it. I could be wrong. You know, you'd think it'd be harder to do higher definition stuff, but I think that's what he told me. I could be wrong though. I could be wrong. So I don't know. I don't think we're at that point where you're going to be seeing this deepfake stuff. But the harsh reality, I suppose, is that if the government, the U.S. government, does have deepfake technology, it's going to be substantially better than anything we've seen so far, and we've seen some good stuff. If they were going to deepfake him, they wouldn't need so many jump cuts. He would be able to blink. You know what I mean? Like, that's the other thing people are saying. He's not blinking. It's like, if they deepfaked him, they'd make him blink, you know? And in these, in the full video you can watch, he squints a bit. He's there, dude. It's just sad. The reality of the video is worse. The reality of the video is that the dude is probably got a broken brain. And the reason I bring up the Paul Krugman story is that you've got people who are marching in lockstep with a man who clearly has some kind of cognitive deficiency. Krugman, it is shockingly insane. Bro, just come out and say it. I don't understand. Nobody likes Biden. Democrats don't want Biden. His approval rating is in the gutter. 75% of Democrats want someone else to run. You don't need to defend the man. Now is the time to come out and be like, we agree with you, American people. Something's wrong, and it's time for change. Vote for, I guess, I don't know who they have to vote for. It's a crazy reality, I got to say. It's like something broke in reality. Maybe, I was thinking about it. A lot of people say we live in hell. You know, like the reality is that Earth was hell the whole time. And I'm like, that's stupid. I was like, what if we're living in heaven? You know? Or what if it's just different for different people and your experience in life is whether you make it heaven or hell? Because I think about it and I'm like, humans need conflict. They need something to strive against, to give them positive feelings. In order for there to be positive feelings, there have to be negative feelings. And I've often said to myself, the universe is perfect. It absolutely is. And I've had a lot of people argue with me that it's not. And I'm like, you're wrong. If the universe was imperfect, you would see faults in our physical reality. But we've not seen it. I mean, I suppose you can maybe say like miracles or whatever, but those miracles are supposed to be intentional. No, a fault would be like, a tree glitching out of existence. We can look at the games and the simulated worlds we make and see the faults in them. I see the universe as being perfect, and I'm like, what if this place, it's just heaven or hell? It's what you make of it, right? So when I think about these problems, the reason I bring this up, when I think about the recession, when I think about Joe Biden, the insanity and what the world is, it's like, you can choose. Some people suffer, but there was this old study I was reading a long time ago that said a lottery winner 1 year after winning and a paraplegic 1 year after the accident register the same levels of happiness. And that really does say a lot. I think we should focus on ourselves. I think we should do away, if you experience, I'll tell you what, the 7 deadly sins, consider those and consider if those are the things that make you unhappy. Gluttony. So you're overweight, maybe you're unattractive. Gluttony is a problem. Pride. Pride cometh before the fall. Pride is typically associated with a positive thing, but I think in this context, it really just means like arrogance. Lust. All of these things are really interesting. These vices. They don't lend themselves to a happy and healthy existence. And so perhaps there is a way, through self-control, you look at all this stuff and just say, you know what, man, it is what it is. What I mean, I guess what I'm trying to say is, as bad as these things are, this conflict gives us passion, drive, and purpose. Use that purpose to fight for something good. Vote these people out. Call out the manipulations and the lies. And maybe then we'll get a president who's not experiencing dementia. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 1 p.m. on this channel. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.